I'm gonna use for today. I have a kind of fabric chalk, or pens are fine as well, or pencils, whatever that's kind of like good for like any other fabric that you're gonna use, as long as you can see. I've got a pen here. It's not necessary, but it's good to have when you're sewing, so you can put the two sides together. Obviously you have scissors. This is just I think I found it sort of like a wrapping from a gift. Extra bits of like lace is quite good, buttons, or like just different types of kind of like nice frilly stuff. That'd be quite nice to kind of add to your heart shape. And then this is the, sorry, I've got the cat, she's curious. No, but I drew this one and it's not a perfect size. So this is what I'm saying. It's not necessarily need to be kind of like perfect. I actually cut this out from an Amazon packaging about recycling zero waste. So this one, this fabric is actually a recycled curtain. So that'll be what we'll have. And we're gonna start with basically cutting our fabric first. So we've got our full fabric here. Okay. And then what we're gonna do is we have to fold it in half. Okay. And you want your good side inside, or your front side facing this side. How can people see if you're there? So, okay. I think I actually drew one already here.
Oh, it's magic.
Magic! Don't tell. So basically what I've done is took my template, making sure that it's leveled on both sides. So I've actually used it like that, and basically just took my fabric and chalk and kind of draw around it. What you can do if you don't have a template, I'll do it on this one. She's back again. I'm gonna do it on this side. What you want to do is just try and make it as kind of actually you could draw it like bigger than the size that you're wanting, so at least you have allowances. So I'm gonna try and do that now. Doesn't necessarily need to be perfect again, because you can always kind of edit that when you're sewing. You can just cut bits out as well. So I'm just gonna freehand this to show you. I mean, it's not really much of a complicated shape, so I'm gonna show you. The only most important thing is that both sides from this side and the one at the back is the same. So that's the shape that I have. So I'm gonna use the shape instead. Okay, actually I'm gonna see if that's bigger than now. That's fine. Before we cut, we're gonna pin it together. Okay, just to make sure that they're both together. Just gonna randomly pop all these pins around, so I've got quite a good grip when I'm cutting around it. Okay, and I want to make sure that it's actually gone through. That's just a different shape. So all of the pins have gone through both sides. Okay, just gonna take, where's my, I think I've got another scissors. That's probably good. It's fine. I'll just use this one. So for cutting, again, we're cutting around the outline that we've drawn. So I'm gonna do that right now. Okay. there's other designs as well that instead of cutting these allowances away, you can actually keep them. And some people sew it on the front side of the heart. So it has kind of like that kind of design, like the stitching that you can see. So it depends on your style, really. 2 seconds. Don't want to cut away too inwards. Just taking too much time because my scissors aren't that great. There's actually like 5 scissors in this house. For some reason, they're missing. Make sure that I've got a nice V shape here. Mhm. Okay, I'm gonna take the excess fabrics away. So I've got my 2 wee heart shapes now. Don't know if you could see that, but that's fine. It's not completely perfect. I've got big allowances here, but that's fine. What you can do for putting the 2 sides together is you can either use fabric glue, but this one actually takes too long. So we're not going to use that because it'll still be kind of wet when I'm trying to like put the wool in. So we're not going to use this one, but this is a good alternative to sewing. If you don't like sewing, Elaine. So another alternative as well is glue gun. It's quite good because it'll dry up really fast as well. So that's quite a good alternative other than sewing. But today we're gonna sew, so we're gonna use a sewing machine. Trick is with the sewing machine is that when you're going around the shape, you want to make sure that you're leaving a hole so you can put the wool in or the fillings in.
Oh.
So depending on your desired part of the kind of front shape that you want, I think this one's the inside one. So actually what I'm gonna do is that's
If I'm doing it by hand, will I just do a back stitch instead?
yeah, a back stitch would be probably the best one.
Right.
This one. Actually, I'm just gonna use this part here. Forgot one. Setting up my sewing machine. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is basically sew around, leave a hole, and then at the end I'm going to turn it inside out. So let me see where I'm going. So again, just going through the shape where the outline is. Let me know if the sewing machine is too loud. I'm not even sure if you can see that or hear that actually. But
we can't really hear it because of the microphone on your Your
Oh,
headphones
cool.
is what we get the sound from. We can
That's
just
fine.
see your sewing machine.
Awesome. Take this away.
I'm doing hand stitch as well because I find small craft stuff can be quite challenging using the machine.
Yeah. It's probably gonna be a bit too tight if I'm gonna use a sewing machine with this one. Try my best to make sure I'm on the right.
Sorry, can you move the cat? We can't see anything.
Oh my goodness. She's, it's because I can't put her in other rooms as well because she gets stressed and she'll pee. So I don't want to have to deal with that. I can't take her away. So she might as well just kind of like hover around where I am, just making sure she's not in the camera. Sorry about that. And make sure that I'm got the wee side here. Actually, I think I actually went around the whole shape. Oh no, I didn't. That's fine. I've got enough space where I can put my wee wool stuff. So I've only done one kind of stitch around it. So just in case I'd have to kind of pull it all back out. But I'm gonna take the hole that I left and I'm gonna try and shimmy it out if I can. It's probably a really problematic side to do it on. Oh my goodness. So making sure that I've got a shape here. Just pushing it out just to kind of make sure that I've got the right shape here.
Aha.
Haha. So stitching from the inside actually gives it a little bit more like a cleaner side, if you know what I mean.
Oh, that looks healthy.
Yeah, it looks like a healthy heart.
Correct.
That's what we want. So again, I've still got a hole here to fill it with any fillings just to make sure I'm gonna stretch out a little bit. So I've not missed out any side. Okay. Again, you can add bits to this. So if I can find my extra piece of fabric here. I'm gonna use this as kind of like a little handle at the top. But I'm probably easier to kind of hand sew it instead of sewing it. So I'm gonna hand sew it by using an invisible ladder stitch so you can't see the stitching. But now we are going to fill it with fillings.
So you fill it with fillings before you do the hand stitching?
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, it's called scented heart pillows. So forgot to show you this all together. I've got lavender here inside. So what you want to do is just take bits of the fillings first, and then we're gonna put the lavender in. So we're gonna take kind of like the fillings and then bits of lavender and then fillings and then bits of lavender as well. And there's actually a more eco Alternative to fillings, people sometimes use plastic bags and they actually put plastic bags inside.
Mhm.
So if you have like tons and tons of plastic bags inside or like in your house, you can actually fill it with if you're making these type of things. And the reason for the plastic bags is that if you're using essential oils instead of kind of bits of lavender or bits of kind of like aroma, kind of like plant, instead of that, you can use oils with the plastic bags. So apparently it's not going to soak up as much and it's going to like the scent will stay with the plastic bag since it's not going to dry. I read it somewhere. I'm sure it'll work. But for today, I'm going to use the fillings. And then I'm going to take bits of lavender. See my bits of lavender here. That smells good actually. So just going to take bits of lavender inside the pillow. Just going to tuck them in different size. If you really want a nice smelling pillow, you can take all of the lavender stuff and shove it in. So I try and do that, and then I'm just gonna basically kind of like poke it towards different sides so the lavender can be just kind of placed around the pillow. Again, you've still got space for other bits of wool, so as long as you've got kind of space for that. So add more actually. We want more. We want a nice smelling pillow, so I'm gonna put more. Okay. Then I'm gonna add more of the fillings. And make it as full as I can. Okay. And then kind of like moving it around to make sure I've got even sides.
Brittany's back
Excuse
again.
me. No, is it all right? Yeah. She's just hovering. She just likes to kind of watch. So I'm shoving as much as I can in. Okay. So should have enough in there. Just kind of massaging it a little bit. And then it depends on you what type of kind of like design you want on it. I'm gonna add kind of like a little kind of like handle with my extra fabric. So I'm just gonna cut a little tiny piece. This will just kind of serve as like something that you could use to hang it with. So I'm gonna fold it like that. And I'm gonna shove this in here. Okay. And I'm gonna pin it. Gonna put it in like, kind of like a small slant. So it's kind of like, it looks like it's slanting. I've put it in the side because it's quite easier to kind of like do an invisible stitch on kind of like a straight side rather than the middle. If you wanted to do it in the middle as well, you can sew it while it was inside, outside in,
Mhm.
just to make sure. So I'm gonna pin that through. Okay. Making sure that's okay. So last bits of sewing. I'm just gonna find my needle. How are you getting on, Jennifer? Are you? Oh yeah, you're
Sorry.
hand sewing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ladder stitch, which is going from side to side. I'm gonna do that right now. Okay.
So do you put the needle in with the hem is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm just taking both sides to kind of like close both lips. Are you familiar with ladder stitch, Lorraine?
No, not really.
No?
No, it's new to me.
Yeah, it's basically kind of like, it looks like rungs on a ladder when you're like going through side by side.
Uh-huh.
So you're basically just taking a bit of each. So you can see there's two there that I've done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
And
can
what
see
you're
that.
gonna do is basically go on the other side and then take a bit of that, the same bit,
Uh-huh.
and then pulling it out, but not, you don't want to tighten it at the
Oh.
moment. So you tighten it at the end. So it's still kind of loose.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to do that side by side.
Oh, like pinching a bit on each
Yeah.
side. Oh, I see.
Pretty much, yes.
Right.
There's lots of YouTube kind of how-tos to do a ladder stitch, but when you kind of master it, you'll
Mhm.
definitely love this stitch, because it works with like when you've got holes in your clothes, when you don't want to have to kind of like turn it around, or when it becomes complicated to kind of turn fabric around.
Mm.
Then just gonna go through that. So when you get to the bit of your fabric, I basically just, I'm gonna pull it this time to kind of close it off. So as you can see, you no longer have a thread.
Mm.
So that's it closed.
Right.
You can't see the rungs anymore. What I'm gonna do with this bit here is I can actually just like go over it with a back stitch, so it looks kind of cute. So you can see kind of like a small tiny detail. I'm gonna do.
Christine, can you hold it down near the board? You keep going off the screen now.
Oh, right, okay. I think that's better. Here?
Yeah,
Mm.
that, we can see you now. Thank you.
Cool. Because I was holding it up. So I'm actually back stitching it here. It works better if you have the same color of thread, or you can do the opposite. You can use a completely different color of thread, so it kind of pops. You've got like kind of little tiny detail, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But each to their own.
We've lost you again.
Oh.
Thanks.
It's because I was taking like bits of fabric that are kind of like just loose around it. So do that. So basically the heart had a surgery somehow. I've got like the surgical stitches to mend it. Just gonna, oh, sorry.
Cannot thread for the life of me today.
I know. I'm surprised it took me like 2 seconds to thread that needle.
I think it's because it's so dark here, you can't see.
Yeah.
I think I took the glasses off, I might be.
So a wee tiny detail there. Then I'm just gonna close off. What my plan is with this one is basically put it inside my laundry basket.
Ah, right.
So that's usually what people do with kind of like scented pillows. They put it next to their laundry baskets or sometimes their bins. Yeah. So that's it
Put it in the
finished.
drawer with your clothes,
Yeah,
and they
And
all
the
smell less when you
clothes.
take them out.
definitely. So
So how
that's
did you
what it
close
looks
that
like.
off?
I just kind of like tied a knot around where your last stitch is. So I just went in and then took a bit of a fabric and then put through the hole and then just tighten it. I hope that makes sense.
Cool.
So I've got my wee tiny heart there.